Hi, I'm Rayne. Welcome to my sweet digs, or as I like to call it, my home gallery. Before you come in to see the art, subscribe below. Okay, come on in. I'm right on the borderline of Crown Heights. I love Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn, so it still feels like the New York that I grew up in. I pay $15.70 for my 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and it's roughly about 400 square feet. So for me, it was super important to live alone and not have a ton of roommates. So I was willing to spend a little bit more to get something that was updated and had a true 1-bedroom. First up, my kitchen. It's updated. It was renovated right before I moved in, so I'm the first technically to be in here with the appliances. Having a modern kitchen wasn't super important. I just wanted it to have a gas stove because things cook better on gas heat. My least favorite thing about this apartment is the humidity. The walls get really moist, and when I'm cooking, the windows fog up, so it looks like a restaurant in here. My favorite thing to cook in the apartment would be pasta. I love Italian food and I love bread, and those two things go together really well. Lasagna, ziti, like it doesn't matter, I'm probably gonna make it. This is my little dining area. I like to have breakfast here in the morning. I like to keep it really minimal just so that it feels open. Because I work in e-commerce and we specialize in furniture and art, I've really taken a lot of what I've learned there and translated into my own space, specifically with my dining table. It's inspired by a prominent designer, and I think the piece is definitely timeless and classic because it will work in any space. The skateboard is like the newest addition that I have. I love Marvin Gaye. He's like one of my favorite artists. When Supreme did a Marvin Gaye collection, like I was like, I need to get something from there. And then I have like that really classic like Matisse painting. It's actually covering like an electrical box. And so I think those two pieces of art really draw your eye into the dining area. My living room is definitely my favorite spot in the apartment because I like to relax here, watch movies. I love like the just serene kind of environment where I can just relax or hang out with friends. And the couch is super important to that because I wanted something that was big enough for people to lounge on. It's super comfortable, but it's also functional. And it was also super cheap. I got it for $350 on Wayfair. So it's definitely a good deal and it looks really chic. I got interested in fashion because my mom was always into design and she had great style growing up, and we always dressed really well. Like she's like, you're representing me when you go out into the world. So I just grew up that way, and seeing her really inspired me pretty much all throughout my life. Me and my mom have very similar styles. She loves the space, but she hates this chair. She thinks it looks like an electric chair, which I don't, but I definitely got it because I wanted something that was different from anything I had in the space, and I definitely love it because I think it draws your eye to that corner of the room. I was definitely inspired by kind of my growing up here during like the hypebeast Soho kid era of New York. A lot of that was inspired by Japanese artists and Japanese fashion, and that translates to the art that I have on my walls. KAWS, Murakami, things that you saw in like BBC and BAPE was something that really inspired me and kind of stuck with me. So the SpongeBob piece is one of my favorite pieces in the space. I grew up watching SpongeBob. KAWS did this really great collection of different like faces, and I really love this one. And then the plates on the wall are Fornasetti. I saw them in an episode of Will and Grace like years ago, and I was like, what are those plates? Those are dope because they all have different faces. And I saw it again as an adult, and I was like, I have to have this. During my spare time, I run a lifestyle blog called Broken Brooklyn, where I basically talk about how I survive in New York while maintaining all of this by myself, as well as finding designer items super discounted and how to shop smart. Having that space where I could just like put it all and just like write a little bit was really important to me, kind of like an online diary. I feel like there wasn't a lot out there of girls that looked like me, and that was really important for me. My most expensive item in the space isn't furniture. It's actually a Chanel bag that my mom got me for Christmas about a year or two ago. I want to say the retail price is probably $2,500 to $3,000. Even though it's worth that much, I probably won't ever sell it because it's sentimental because my mom gave it to me. Right before I moved into this apartment, I sold a Goyard tote bag and used that money to furnish the space. I sold the bag for $1,200, and that money translated into most of the furniture in this apartment. I think it's really important to understand the importance of luxury bags because they are definitely investment pieces when you're buying the right ones. If you do intend to buy and sell, I would stick with more established brands like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, because they raise their prices every year. So you know that you're guaranteed to make a profit if you do intend to sell in the future, and the designs typically don't change. My bathroom is definitely on the smaller side. I definitely want more space in my next bathroom. I would want a soaking tub because it would be nice to be able to take a nice comfortable bath, but they did update it so it is at least nice with the size, but there isn't much I can do to expand on space. And right through here is my bedroom. For my bedroom, I wanted to keep it as simple as possible because I didn't have a lot of room to work with. I didn't want to sacrifice on the size of the bed, so I definitely took up a lot of the space with a queen size mattress, but I keep the linens white so it feels really serene and hotel-like. For the art that I have in the space, because it's pretty much stark white in here, I did want to play around with some of the similar notes that I have in the other areas of the house. I have a Murakami piece above my bed, kind of like a headboard, and I have some Fornasetti art on the walls as well that came with the plates that I bought in the living room. I wanted to keep the entire apartment cohesive by keeping the artist the same. In this apartment, I only have one closet. It's pretty large and I've maximized the space as much as possible, but it doesn't hold everything. So I do have shoes and books in the TV stand, and I have storage bins underneath my bed. Because I got a platform bed, it's about 16 inches off the ground, I was able to fit a lot of storage bins underneath. It allows me to fit transitional clothes, shoes that I don't really wear, linens, towels, things like that, so they don't have to be out in your face. I definitely feel like my adult life is kind of on the track that I imagined it would be. I definitely only saw myself being in New York City. I've created a space that I feel comfortable in and I can also welcome other people into, but it's really my own space. I think that this space is something that I really love to call home, and I don't really see myself moving anytime soon. Thank you so much for coming to my sweet digs. To watch more videos, click here. To subscribe, click here. Bye guys.